Hello everyone, welcome to Spinning Iris. This is another overdue review. I was invited to participate in the plus size book challenge several months ago. I think it was August. It was by Lexi Reads, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but I did find Olivia Dade's Spoiler Alert, and boy, was that a welcome addition to my TBR at the time. I knew exactly what it was when I started reading it, and it was a blast. But I can understand why some readers might not have enjoyed it as much as I did. In a nutshell, Spoiler Alert is a romantic, fictionalized fan fiction about fan fiction with fan fiction. It's a fanficception. In the first chapter, you can pretty much tell right away what the inspiration was. Specifically, Marcus's show. It's very obviously Game of Thrones, especially if you think about that character's name, Marcus Castor Rupp. Much like Game of Thrones, the series represented in this book is based on a popular book series. A series in its final season that is about to make many fans very, very unhappy, and is inspired by history and mythology. In this case, the story of Aeneas and Dido. I think I kind of had an advantage in terms of that story coming into this novel, because I'm at least familiar with the basics of that story. In the 5th grade, we did a little performance of a very brief play about Aeneas and Dido. I got to play Jupiter. Also kind of ignited my fascination with Greek mythology and Greek mythology-inspired literature. I know in her vlog she kind of said that she kind of wished that there was a prologue at the beginning of the novel to sort of describe the story of the show and sort of the relationships between the actors and the crew and, you know, all that. Which I do understand. Although I thought the way the show was described, the way the connections between the characters was described was perfectly fine for this novel. Again, because I knew exactly where this novel was coming from and I knew exactly what it was doing. Sort of the atmosphere between cast and crew for this particular show, when it is represented, is sort of reminiscent of some of the big movies and TV shows that I've followed for years and obsessed over for years, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Lost, and as recently as Supernatural. And in terms of how the show was portrayed in this novel, it's almost like the Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess series is with a budget of Game of Thrones size and the tight-knit closeness of the Lord of the Rings cast and crew with the sort of tight-lipped secrecy of a Marvel's Avenger movie, complete with its own Tom Holland. And that's just the story within the story. I did say this was a fan fiction. And this novel unmistakably resembles the type of fan fiction that I was reading a lot of when I was reading a lot of fan fiction. I don't know if there's an actual term for what it is, but I call it a fan fantasy. A fan fiction not necessarily about a character, but about the actor who portrays that character, where the writer's main character, which is usually a self-insert, meets this actor, makes connection, eventual friendship, maybe even romance. And the storytelling opportunities for that type of story are only limited by the author's imagination. I read a bunch of those. I even wrote one. I found it recently. It's so cringy and sweet, and I knew it was awful as I was writing it, and I almost didn't finish it. I know you can't read it. It's on a website that doesn't exist anymore. I will say it was a very good learning experience. Seeing that type of fan fiction taken to an adult level with the fantasy and the romance, it just warmed my little fangirl heart. Another thing I can see some readers not really enjoying about this novel would be all the romantic tropes and cliches that are stuffed in there. Those are quite common in romantic fan fictions as well. You know, couples misunderstanding one another, miscommunicating with each other, unreasonable interactions and secrets that must be kept, drawn out courting phases with little montages, awkward and sexy PDA, looking at that earthquake simulator, marvelous sensual love scenes, tragic and traumatic backstories, in this case the horrible parents of our two main characters, a third act breakup that doesn't really need to happen, and a very public, heartwarming reunion at the very end, while setting up for a possible sequel. You know, just to make sure that our couple is as unhappy for as long as possible so that they can get to that happy ending. Yeah, the characters, for all their faults and flaws, were a lot of fun. I love how sprinkled in between the chapters there are sort of the personal messages between April and Marcus in their fan fiction personas, the chat room conversations, samples of the fan fictions that are on the website from both April and Marcus and others among the fan fiction writers, as well as some of Marcus's other projects and films. They're so hilariously bad you could almost see them being real. If you're going for realism, one of the probably the most unrealistic things is Marcus being able to keep his secret for as long as he did, or even bothering to keep his secret as long as he did. Both of them. Especially from April, considering she figured out he was smarter than he let on pretty quickly. But hey, there's that love is blind cliche for you. I guess one tiny little thing, not really a gripe, just a passing thought. I did think that there might have been more to do with Marcus's earthquake issue, but it never came back. Oh well. And from a romantic novel standpoint, it is very nice seeing the plus-size body type getting a positive presence. Again, I really enjoyed this novel so much. After reading all of the serious, dramatic, and realistic fiction, I needed this. It was a welcome piece of sugary, romantic nostalgia that I desperately needed. If you want a number rating for this, 4 out of 5 stars. There you go. I know not everyone who reads this novel is going to enjoy it, but those in the know, I think they will enjoy it. This little fan fiction within a fan fiction about a fan fiction with fan fiction. And I think they'll enjoy what it is for what it is. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Take care. Bye-bye.